I only closed my eyes for a second. Just one blink. When I opened them, the world was gone. It started on a Tuesday. The kind of day that doesn't warn you it's going to destroy your life. I was sitting on a bench outside my apartment, coffee in hand, earbuds in, watching traffic crawl through the misty gray morning. It was quiet, too quiet for a city this size, but I didn't think much of it. Then I blinked, and the city died. No sound, no movement, no people, just empty streets and flickering traffic lights. At first, I thought it was a glitch in my brain. Low blood sugar, maybe. I blinked again. Nothing changed. The entire world had vanished in a breath. I stood up, called out, walked to the middle of the street. My voice echoed like I was shouting into a canyon. I ran. The radio stations were static. TVs played frozen images. People mid-laugh, mouths open like statues carved from stillness. Every screen, every broadcast, frozen in time. Phones didn't ring. Signals were dead. I ran to the grocery store down the block. Not a soul inside. Shopping carts abandoned mid-aisle. A baby's bottle lying on the floor, still warm. The scariest part, no chaos, no struggle. It was as if everyone had just stepped away. All at once. While I blinked, I searched for answers. Days passed. Or maybe it was weeks. It's hard to tell when you're alone in the world. Then I found the tape. It was in the basement of the old university building I'd broken into for shelter. A small room, part of a physics lab. A reel-to-reel recorder sat dusty on the desk, still humming faintly. I played it. If you're hearing this, you're the anomaly. You survived the collapse because you're unanchored. Blinking. That's how you switch layers. Layers. The multiverse isn't linear. Each blink, each moment of conscious interruption, you phase to a reality where others don't exist. You're slipping through shards of fractured time. And then, silence. I found versions of myself. In some layers, my apartment was still intact. In others, it was abandoned, burned down, or replaced by something entirely alien. In one layer, I saw myself, sitting at the table, laughing with someone I didn't recognize. I blinked, and they were both gone. Every blink was a reset, a roll of cosmic dice. Eventually, I stopped blinking. But eyes dry out, muscles twitch. You have to blink. It's a curse written into the code of being human. One night, I saw her. A woman, early 30s, black hair, wearing a yellow raincoat, walking across the street. She was the first living soul I'd seen in weeks. I ran to her, screamed her name though I didn't know it. She turned, and blinked. Suddenly, she was gone. But something else remained. A photograph on the ground. Me, her, and a little girl in a park. Smiling. I don't remember that day. But I remember the feeling of it. I started keeping count. Each blink, each new world. Some layers were familiar. Some were nightmares. One layer had no sun. Just a blood-red sky and a metallic sea. In another, Earth was orbiting twin stars. In another, the Earth was empty except for mirrors that showed you your regrets. I saw billions of versions of reality, but none with people that stayed. Then, in layer 74, I found a journal, my handwriting, but I never wrote it. Don't trust the reflections. They're not just illusions. They're watching, waiting for you to blink again. I read those words, turned to the mirror, and it blinked back. I started noticing things, patterns. The layers weren't random. They were reacting to me, rearranging. Once, I stayed awake for 3 days, eyes pried open with tape and drops. The world held steady, but then, I saw them. Tall figures, smooth skin, no mouths, glowing eyes. Standing still in the distance. Always just at the edge of the frame of my vision. As soon as I blinked, they vanished again. They were the only thing that seemed constant between layers. Were they following me, or watching over me? In a frozen city where time never moved, I found an old machine, a chamber with a chair and electrodes. Beside it, a note. This is how you began. You volunteered. You blinked first. Memories came back in fragments. I was a test subject. Project Osiris. A government experiment to map consciousness across multiversal spectra. My ability to phase across layers was artificially triggered by forcing a quantum flicker between perception states. They called it the Blink Protocol. I wasn't born broken. I was made this way. And now, I was broken across infinite worlds. Eventually, I reached a world with no gravity. No ground. Just floating platforms and a central island of light. There, I found the others. Dozens like me. Eyes wide, unblinking, trembling. Refugees of the blink. We spoke without words. Communicated in shared memories. They had tried to build a stable layer, one where blinking didn't cause collapse. But even there, time frayed. Reality flickered like an old film reel. They warned me. The more you travel, the more you're forgotten. Even by yourself. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize my own eyes anymore. Now, I'm here, in this layer, where you're listening to this. Maybe I found a way to transmit across the veil. Maybe your world hasn't collapsed yet. Or maybe you're like me, already falling through the fractures. Listen to me. Don't blink. But if you do, remember this. Each blink is not a moment lost. It's a choice. A corridor. A fork. I don't know how many more times I can blink before I vanish completely. Before I forget who I was. So if you ever find a photo of a woman in a yellow raincoat, holding hands with a stranger who looks like you, please, don't blink. Tell her I remember. Tell her I never meant to leave. Because every time I close my eyes, I lose a piece of the world. And one day, I won't be able to find my way back.